Okay, just a little behind on these reviews for hockey, so let's dive into Wednesday's action from the National Hockey League. The Columbus Blue Jackets playing host to the New York Islanders. There was no scoring in the first two periods. We have to jump ahead to the third period, where Damon Severson would get his second goal of the year, assisted by Corrali and Kevin LeBanc, 5:43 of the third period. The Islanders would pull their goalie with just over 2 minutes remaining. Justin Danforth would strike, getting his second goal of the season from Sillinger and Peroviov, so that Blue Jackets would shut out the New York Islanders 2-0. The Detroit Red Wings played host to the Winnipeg Jets. In the first period, Gabriel Velarde would get his third goal of the year from Connor and Stanley just over 2 minutes into the first frame. Neil Pionk would score just over 2 minutes into that period as well, getting his second of the season from Shifley and Connor. Speaking of Kyle Connor, the guy has been red hot, getting his ninth goal of the year, assisted by Gabe Velarde, 15:44 of the first period. And just as a quick little side note before I continue this game, this was huge because I am in a fantasy league for hockey, and I have both Kyle Connor and Neil Pionk on my team respectively. So they both definitely helped me out on this particular night. In the second period, the captain, Dylan Larkin, would finally get the Red Wings on the board, getting his fifth goal of the year, a power play marker from Raymond and Sider, 8:13 of the second frame. Alex DeBrincat would make things interesting with 2 minutes and 20 seconds to go. He would get a power play goal himself, his fifth of the year from Raymond and Sider. So the Red Wings cut the deficit to 3-2 heading into the third period. Nito Niederreiter would score just 10 seconds into the third, increasing the lead to 4-2. For Niederreiter, that would be his fifth goal of the year. Neil Pionk would get his second goal of the game, his third of the season, a power play goal from Iafallo, and Namestnikov, a power play marker, 7:19 of the third period. Colin Miller would strike, getting his second goal of the year from Adam Lowry, 10:25 of the third period, giving the Jets a 6-2 lead, and that's where we'd stand at the end of regulation. The Colorado Avalanche played host to the Tampa Bay Lightning. Now, who would have guessed that when the Avs signed Ross Colton 2 years ago in the offseason, that he'd be having a breakout season that he is? I guarantee I never would have seen that coming. And if the Tampa Bay Lightning had known at the time about his potential, I'm sure they would have tried to have gotten him signed. But I know that salary cap plays a major factor into why players stay or go. So Nikita Kucherov would kick things off in the first period, getting his ninth goal of the year from Point and Hedman, just a minute and 1 second into the first frame. Jake Gentz would increase the lead to 2-0, getting his third goal of the year from Kucherov and McDonough just over 3 minutes into the first period. Connor Geeky would increase the lead to 3-0, getting his second of the year from Cirelli and Brendan Hagel, 5:32 of the first period. And Ivan, I love that name. First and last name, the exact same thing. That's fantastic. We'll get his second goal of the year, a power play goal from Makar and McKinnon, 14:56 of the first period. In the second frame, Jake Gensel would get his second goal of the game, his fourth of the year from Point and Kucherov, 6:28 of the second period. So heading into the third, Tampa Bay had a 4-1 lead. Cale Makar would cut the deficit in half, getting his fourth of the year from Rantanen and McKinnon, 10:57 of the third period. And when the Avs would pull their goalie, unfortunately, it did not mount to anything, as Anthony Cirelli would be credited with the empty net goal, his second of the year, assisted by Hagel, 18:40 of the third period. So Tampa Bay would win this game 5-2. The Utah Hockey Club played host to the Calgary Flames. In the first period, Alexander Kerfoot would get his first goal as a member of the Utah Hockey Club from Kesselring and Sergachev, 4:41 of the first period. Barrett Hayton, would strike with just 2 seconds to go in the first, getting his fifth of the year from Schmaltz and Ian Cole. So heading into the second period, Utah had a 2-0 lead. Anthony Mantha would get on the goal scorer sheet, getting his third of the year from Kirkland and Uyghur, just over 3 minutes into the frame, making it 2-1 at that point. Marovic Lamoureux, I believe, would get his first career NHL goal, assisted by Stenlin and McBain, 4:10 of the second period. Mikhail Sergachev would increase the lead to 4-1, getting his second goal of the season, a power play goal from Genther and Schmaltz, 16:32 of the second period. So heading into the third, Utah had a 4-1 lead. Just the one goal to report, and that was from Captain Clayton Keller. I never get sick of saying that. For Keller, that'd be his sixth goal of the year, a power play goal from Genther and Sergachev, 5:13 of the third period. So Utah would win this game by a final score, 5-1. The Los Angeles Kings played host to the Vegas Golden Knights. In the first period, Warren Foegele would get his fourth of the year, 13:58 of the first period, unassisted. Adrian Kempe would score less than a minute after that, making it 2-0 in favor of the Kings. For Kempe, that'll be his fourth goal of the year from Kopitar and Mickey Anderson. The Kings had a 2-0 lead heading into the second period. Alex Lafreniere would get his sixth goal of the year from Mikey Anderson and Byfield. 10-11 of the second period, making it 3-0 in favor of Los Angeles. Anze Kopitar would score about 44 seconds after that, getting his fourth goal of the year from Clark and Kempe. Tanner Pearson would finally get the Vegas Golden Knights on board, with just over 5 minutes remaining on the period. For Pearson, that'd be his third goal of the year, assisted by Holtz and William Karlsson. So the Kings had a 4-1 lead heading into the third period. Kevin Fiala would increase the lead to 5-1, getting his fifth goal of the year, a power play goal from Kopitar and Blake Clark, 6:23 of the third period, making it 5-1 at that point. Joel Edmondson would increase the lead to 6-3, getting his third goal of the year from Clark and Fiala just over 8 minutes into the third period. Pavel Dorobiev would get his fifth goal of the season, power play goal from Stone and Theodore, 11:04 of that period, 6-2 at that point in favor of the Kings. He would strike again with just under 3 minutes to go, getting his second goal of the game, his sixth of the season, assisted by Korchik and Thomas Hertl. Unfortunately, they were down so much at that point they weren't able to mount a comeback, so the Kings would double up on the Golden Knights, 6-3. And the last game from Wednesday took place in Vancouver, as we had the Canucks playing host to the New Jersey Devils. The interesting thing about this particular matchup was how you had the Hughes brothers playing against each other, Jack Hughes and Luke Hughes for the New Jersey, and obviously the captain, Quinn Hughes, for Vancouver. So just the one goal to report under a minute into the first period. Nico Hischier would get his 10th goal of the year, assisted by Mercer, giving the Devils a 1-0 lead heading into the second period. Speaking of Mercer, he'd get on the goal score sheet himself. Despite the fact that the Devils were down a man, he would strike, getting a shorthanded marker. That would be his third goal of the year, assisted by Hischier, a minute 35 of the second period. Timo Meier would increase the lead to 3-0, getting his fifth goal of the year, assisted by Hischier, 3:07 of the second period, making it 3-0 in favor of the Devils. Andre Palat would finally get his first goal of the year from Hamilton and Jack Hughes, 14:04 of the second period. So heading into the third, New Jersey had a 4-0 lead. Speaking of Jack Hughes, he would get on the goal scorer sheet himself, getting a power play goal from Neeson and Bratt, 9:22 of the third, giving the Devils a 5-0 lead. And Thomas Tatar would get his second goal of the season from Batsian and Jake Dowling, 14:06 of the third period. So the Devils would go into Vancouver and absolutely wipe the floor with the Canucks. Okay, that's going to take care of Wednesday's recap from the National Hockey League season. As always, if you're new to this channel and you like this type of content, feel free to hit the sub button. I'd be very grateful and very appreciative. Until next time, and as always, take care.